What's up, YouTube? Doing a deck profile here over my fourth place finish at the Portland Regional here in Maine. We played Tenpai with some great games. Ended 6-1. I'll show you what we got going on here. I know it's not going to be anything like reinventing the wheel or anything here, but I did play a couple things different than most decks you'll see. Starting off here, of course, we got the 3 Pydras. This is the deck's best starter. I saw this card way too much. Didn't find myself searching Sang and summoning too much. Just kept searching Kaiman for follow-up play. And of course, that card is next to be hit. That card is insane. It just does way too much for the deck. Next is 2 Phaedras. Most deck profiles only play the 1 with 2 Genrokus. I found myself seeing this in my hand too much and then not having a way to get it out on the field to extend our plays and OTK your opponent. But 2 worked out really well, and it does help for the grind game if you get there. Obviously, that's not the goal. 3 Chandra. Again, this card is absolutely insane. I saw myself normal summoning this and then going right to battle. And then if your opponent doesn't have a way to stop it, this is OTK by itself. This card is absolutely insane. I only played the 1 Genroku. This card didn't come up too much. I mean, I did add it, to special and then tribute for whatever name I needed. But I didn't find myself actually seeing this card a lot. I'm very happy with only playing it at 1. The only other one of I play is Dora. Again, this card, I don't think I summoned it once. I don't think it came up once. So for future references, I'd probably cut it. For more non-engine, or maybe a second Genroku, but this card didn't see any play at all. For hand traps, of course, the 3 Ash Blossom, the 3 Malcharmies, the 3 D Shifters, and the 3 Nibs, and of course 3 Imperm. Imperm, quite the clutch card. It's good for turn 1. It's good for turn 2. Always happy to see the card. Again, I don't really know how often I resolved it. Didn't really play too much of a part here. Nibiru, I actually only summoned Nibiru once, and that was against White Forest Toy Box. That was the only time I even used the card. Other than that, I just didn't see it at all. D-Shifter MVP, of course. I probably saw this card more than I should have seen it. I probably had this in 7 matches. I probably saw this card over 60% of my games. I mean, this card obviously just shuts decks down. I played against a voiceless player who I beat probably in 10 minutes max because he just couldn't play the game. And round 1 was against a tier cash player. I saw D-Shifter both times, game 1 and game 2, and he just couldn't play. So, instant win there, kind of a cheese card. Malcharmy. Saw Malcharmy a couple times. It came up in my final game versus Sprite, where I just activated Malcharmy in the draw phase, and Sprite obviously wants to summon from the hand quite a bit, so that obviously slowed him down a lot. But, I mean, other than that, it didn't really play a huge part. Wasn't the end of the world. And, of course, 3 Ash Blossom. This card's just good no matter what. I don't care what anyone says. Sometimes it's just enough to shut your opponent down. And sometimes, I mean, having it going first and you just have this card in your hand is enough to win the game by itself. Next, your board breakers. We got 3 Raigeki. Shout out to the new one. This wasn't played, but this card's just sick. 2 Lightning Storm, and then 2 Forbidding Droplet. Forbidding Droplet was also MVP. For only playing 2, I saw this card multiple times. It actually basically won me my last round, game 3. I was able to Forbidden Droplet an IP, which prevented him from going into SP and banishing my field spell. This card, for only having 2 of, I see it all the time, so that's why I could justify playing 2. I never really want to see more than 1 in my hand at a time, but this card was super clutch. 2 Lightning Storm. I don't even think I saw this card at all, and if I did, I think it resolved maybe once. Other than that, I don't think I even saw this card naturally. And then 3 Raigeki again. I don't think I saw this card at all. It might have resolved once, maybe twice. Again, the board breakers really weren't there for me. I didn't really resolve any board breakers at all, believe it or not. And then, of course, 3 Sangen Kaiman for non-engine. I mean, this card is just absolutely... This card is insane. My opinion, this is the best card in the deck. It does everything in your main phase. Adds you whatever name you need. In battle phase, it's a starter. It's an extender. Going second, it can be used as well to get your board back in the battle phase if they don't know you have it and you set it. This card is absolutely crazy and by far the best card in the deck. 1 Pot of Pea, 1 Harpy, 1 Terraforming, and 1 Sangen. I main deck Harpy just because I'm terrified of back row hate. Like, you know, when people flip Power Sink Stone, the new skill drain, any sort of back row. I think I resolved it once. I think I even saw it maybe once. But this card, I always play it. 1 Terraforming. I saw this card way more than I was supposed to. I hard opened it multiple times, which gave me access to Sangen Summoning. I never once hard drew Sangen Summoning that I can remember. I don't think I saw it once in my opening hand. But of course, Terraforming got me there. And then Pot of Pea. Kind of a controversial card, of course. If you have Trident, you know, you can still OTK through the half damage. This card saved me a few times though, especially again in my last round. I top decked Pot of Pea, which then gave me access to my Pydra, which then was able to, you know, obviously start my combo. But this card I still think is very good in the deck. Next for extra deck, of course, you know, you got the standard 2 Bident Dragons. This card obviously is the heart and soul of the deck, especially for as far as the OTK goes. I played 2 Transcendent Dragons. Just feels bad if you lose one in a grind game. I mean, unfortunately, sometimes you do get to the grind game with this deck, depending against what you're playing. But I played 2, and again, it's a Pot of Pea target. It doesn't feel terrible if I need to banish one, because I still have the other. But 2 worked out great for me. We play the 1 Trident Dragon, of course. That card only came up 2 or 3 times. 1 Odd Eyes, I don't think it came up at all. 1 Black Rose Dragon, I don't think it came up at all. Moonlight Dragon, it came up 1 time, and I used it to bounce a big nib token I put on the other side of the field that I didn't think I'd be able to get over. It was like 8,300 defense. So I used this to bounce, which worked pretty good. Other than that, it didn't really see much play. As far as the link package goes, of course, I played 2 Heretics. Again, if you get into the grind game, you need to have another one. And 2, again, it doesn't feel so bad if you need to banish it off Pot of Pea. We played 1 Little Knight, never came up, but it's too good of a card. Oh, I forgot one. We did play, of course, the Samurai Destroyer. This was a U-Bell killer, obviously, and it also worked very, very good into the Voiceless Voice matchup when they have that 40-50 boss monster that can be sometimes hard to get over. Do a little Chimera, didn't come up, but I was just using it for resource management. Promethean, and then Hida, just in case you get debarriered, which thankfully I didn't get debarriered once. I would probably change out the Little Knight if I needed to, but other than that, everything else felt pretty good. Side deck wise, 3 Droll. This card was also phenomenal, siding it in versus a lot of decks. Versus I had 2 matchups against White Forest, one of them being Runic. This just kind of kills it. Droll versus Sprite as well, also just kind of kills the deck and hurts it really bad. So that was real nice to see. 3 debarriers came up once or twice where it mattered. I debarried a White Forest player, but he was playing some pile that he was able to play through it, which was kind of rough. And then I used it against Sprite just to kind of slow them down, so they couldn't XZ summon. But of course, you know, they can still link. 3 Cosmic Cyclones. Came up super clutch in the last round because I was able to Cosmic Cyclone my opponent's Solemn Judgment he had set. Which was a game changer considering we were in a really weird game state where if he could have solemned my next summon, I probably would have scooped or lost. 1 Quakimaru. Unfortunately, this didn't come up at all. I didn't play against any U Bell players, so it never came up. And then 3 Solemn Judgments. This card was actually quite clutch. It came up in a Voiceless Voice match. Again, weird limited game state. And I was able to Solemn his Voiceless card, which felt really good, of course. So that's basically the extra deck, the main deck, and this side deck. My matchups were Tier Cash, White Forest, Memento, another White Forest Runic player, 2 Voiceless players, and a Sprite player. The only one I lost was a Memento matchup. He crossed out my my D shifter, which felt terrible. But other than that, most games were quite intense. But I thoroughly enjoy the deck. It was a lot of fun to play, and I highly recommend it. But yeah, that was my top 4 deck for South Portland Regional. I appreciate it.